creating the valley section and stream bed profile sheets. Since we have all the information set properly in this particular file, we can go through here and start creating the valley section and stream bed profiles. So in order to do that, what we will do first is go ahead and select the stream bed profile. And in here, we will go ahead and open up the profile model, and we'll select view number 8. And you can see the stream bed profile for this particular creek. Now what we need to do is come in here and go through the name boundary tool in order to create the profile sheet. So inside of the profile view, which is this right here, go ahead and hold your right mouse button down and go ahead and select name boundary. And we're going to go ahead and select the one that says profile sheet. Now you have your different options up here at the top. It's already preset to the one that you want to go to, which is the civil profile. In your drawing seed, we're going to go ahead and do a full profile, but we're going to make some modifications to it. Now typically on a valley section or stream bed profile sheet, they would like to have those at a 1 to 100 scale. So let's go ahead and change that to 1 to 100, and you can give it a name if you wish. And down below here, we are going to use this option that says use active vertical. So leave it checked on, and we're going to check on the box that says create drawing and also show dialog. And we will also make some modifications inside of here. So what we can do first, down below here it says identify profile view. So I will go ahead and just left click inside of here. Now it's going to say accept or reject. Where do you want it to start at? So I will go to the very beginning. You'll see it snaps, and I'll left click to accept it, and now you'll see your profile is starting to be created for those name boundaries. Now before we go any farther, you'll see that we have a lot of area up above here and down below here. Well, we can clean this up before we cut our sheets so we could possibly fit both of these into one sheet versus those being into separate sheets where all of our grid work just basically fills up that entire sheet. So this is where we could come in here and look at these options through here. So like our start right now, it's set to a start location of 0 plus 0, 0. Well, if I want to go a little bit before that, let's say I check mark that box and I want to go negative 100, you'll see that I can adjust it to where it goes a little bit before that. So that may be an option that you would like to do. Another thing is your vertical exaggeration. Now normally you'd want to change your vertical exaggeration to whatever your annotation scale is. And for a 1 to 100 scale, you would set that to a vertical exaggeration of 10. If it's a 50 scale for some reason, you change that to 5, or if it's a 20 scale sheet, you change that to 2. So kind of keep that in mind. Next thing that we want to look at is the available profile height. You'll see that we have plenty of area through here, so we can go ahead and shrink this down some. So let's go through here and let's go ahead and change that to 100. And you'll see that it kind of shrunk that down for the available area. And maybe we can go even a little bit farther. Maybe we'll just change that to 80. So you can kind of adjust that as needed for your particular stream bed profile. Once you have those defined, we're going to go ahead and leave the length as is. Once you have those defined, I will go ahead and pull it all the way over to the right side here, and then I will go ahead and left click to accept that named boundary that's being placed. And then I will go ahead and do one more left click to accept it. Now it's going to bring me to the create drawing dialog. Now inside of here, we're going to change our annotation scale right here to 1 to 100. We're going to go ahead and change our annotation group to the same. That way our grid work shows up properly, so it's a profile grid of 100. And then our detail scale, we want to look at that and just make sure it's set to 1 to 100 also. That way it matches what named boundary scale that we placed. Now you do have the option where you could come through here and check mark this box and output these into separate DGN files. If you wish to do that, you can, but for this example here, we're going to put them inside of this sheet. So once we have that, we can come in here and go ahead and click on OK. and it'll go through the process of creating those sheet models and drawing models for those profiles. Now if we go back down below here, you're going to see that we have sheet number 1, which is this right here, and then also we have sheet number 2, which we have a lot of blank area inside this sheet and also inside this sheet. So if we're doing bridge survey profile sheets, what we can do is come in here, and I'll change this back to the default model. And what I'm going to do is come up to my home tab and go to models, which is this right here. And what I'm going to do is actually make a copy of this right here, because I'm going to make some modifications to it to get it to a profile sheet for doing bridge survey. So I'll go ahead and select the sheet, right click, copy, and I will go ahead and name it this right here. I will remove this portion of it. I'll go ahead and leave the sheet in brackets, and then just simply go ahead and click on OK to that. So essentially I just made a copy of this sheet right here. So what we can do now, since I'm in this sheet, I'm going to make some modifications to it. First thing I'm going to do is go up to the levels, and I will go to the MoDOT design border, and I'm going to come in here and turn off the final plans electronic seal. That's not typically the border that we use for that, for the title block information. And then I will come back up here and I'm going to turn on the bridge survey title block, and I'm going to turn on the bridge survey map. So this is typically what you'd see for doing a bridge survey, this particular title block. So once I have that, I can go ahead and close this down for my levels. One other thing that you probably want to do is delete out some text that's right inside this area. So I'm simply just going to make a selection set right through here. And you'll see that it grabs 8 elements, which actually is incorporated for the title block for a normal title block. And I would just simply delete those, because I won't need them for this particular type of sheet. Then what we can do is simply come in here and we can move this profile here to a spot that's in an open area. So I will come up to my references and simply come in here, select this, go ahead and right click over it and just do a move. And I will select the profile and I'll just move it up into an area right in here. And once I have that, I'm finished with that. And if you want to move this right here, this little handler that is associated to this particular model, you can do that also. So now what we can do is come in here and actually attach that other small section of that stream bed profile so it's incorporated just in one sheet. So to do that, simply come up to your references and let's go ahead and do a tools attach. And since this is incorporated in this file, I will go ahead and attach the file that I'm currently in, which is this right here. Go ahead and click on add. Go ahead and click on OK. And then what we need to do next is simply come in here, and you'll see that right now it's looking at the model of default. That's not what we want. So what we're going to do is go ahead and double left click on it, and we're going to change our model from default to the stream bed profile number 2, because we already have number 1 attached, which is right here, because we made a copy of the previous one, so it was already attached with that. So what we're going to do is actually select this right here, which is the drawing model for profile 2, and then for our detail scale, remember it was 1 to 100, so let's go ahead and change that. Next thing that we need to also do is our nesting, because it is a nested reference file, just the way ORD works for doing sheets. So let's go ahead and change that to live nesting, and we can go ahead and change that to a nesting depth of 2. And once you have that set, go ahead and click on OK, and now you'll see that that profile is now showing up. You'll probably need to go ahead and move it to the location that you want. So on this one here, maybe I'll just use Civil AccuDraw and I'll move it to the spot that I want. So go ahead and right click over it, do a move, And I'll simply select it. And I can snap to certain points along here and maybe get it exactly the way I want. You know, that's up to you, depending on where you want to place that at. So once I have it moved to the correct spot, I'll just go ahead and right click to end it. And then if I close out the dialog box now you'll see that I have both profiles incorporated into one sheet right here. So that's where you come in here and create your stream bed profiles for that. So if you want to incorporate the valley sections inside here also, you can do the same thing. You just go back in here, go to your default model, and this time I will go ahead and select this alignment right here, which is our valley section number 1. Open up the profile model. I'll select this view right here. You see that it's it right in this area. And now I can go ahead and do the same thing. I can come in here, just make it a little easier on me, I'll make it a little bit bigger. Hold my right mouse button down, go to name boundary, go to profile sheet, and on this one right here, we'll come in here, leave that set. First thing we'll do is identify our profile view, which is right here. Where's our start spot, which is right here, so I'll snap that spot right there. And now you'll see that our coverage right now is just like the way it's set right here for both of those. So what we can do is come in here, and let's say my start spot, maybe I want to go -100 off that spot also, so I'll go -100. Tab to lock that in. You see that I got a little bit more coverage here. Next thing that I can do is my available height. Right now it's only set to 80. Maybe I need a little bit more area, so let's go ahead and change that to 100 and see what we can get here. So you can see that we have available coverage now, and it goes all the way above and below it. Maybe I want to grab a little bit more. Let's do 120. That's starting to look a little bit better. Okay, so you can kind of adjust these numbers to what it needs to be. Now, one rule of thumb on that though is whenever you're adjusting this profile height, do not go past what it was set at the very beginning for this, because if you do that, then it's going to go past your sheet model, which will be incorrect. So we can go ahead and leave that as 120 for this example. Now our length, you see our length is going to go way past here. So if we were to produce this right now, our grid work would go all the way across to here, which we have a bunch of blank area right here. Well, we can kind of clean this up before we cut the sheet. We can also do it afterwards if you want to, where you just use your MicroStation tools and clean it up inside of the drawing model, which is an option that you can do, or you can do it before you actually cut the actual drawing model and sheet model. So like our length here, we don't need to go all the way across. So I'm going to come in here and change my length maybe to 1800. And you see that it got a little bit smaller. Maybe I can go down a little bit more, 1600. So that may be a better representation and grid work for this particular valley section. So once I have those set, I adjusted this right here for my start location to be a little bit before it. I changed my length of it. Vertical exaggeration is 10 for this 100 scale sheet. My available profile height is 120, which incorporates what I need for this particular valley section. And then these toggles right here toggle it on. So now I would just simply need to go and come in here and left click to accept it. Data point to accept it. Now it's going to go through here and create the drawing and sheet model. So I needed to go ahead and do the same thing here. Change that to 1 to 100. Change my annotation group to 1 to 100 also. Detail scale, just make sure it's set to 1 to 100 also. That way everything is corresponding to your name boundary that you place. Once I have that, go ahead and click on OK. And what it's going to do is create a drawing model and sheet model of this particular area. Now if I go back to my actual sheet here, which is this right here, that's not going to work for this particular section. So you have to come in here and basically do the same thing like what I did here to create a copy of the one that I just created, which would be this one right here. And maybe you can fit in your other valley section over to the side here, maybe move this one here up. So that's just some general guidance and help for creating your stream bed profile sheet and also your valley section sheets that you would submit to Bridge.